Wow. Yes, great. So Mission Possible. Yes, we can start. And this mission is called What an Idea. Wow, what an idea. I love it. So that's a great title. The Pure Grandeur of Pro-Gravity. That sounds also fantastic. The pure grandeur of pro-gravity. There's not being held back by gravity, but being lifted up out of gravity to lose all your material concepts of yourself, of this body, of this world, of this who knows what. Everything that has weight, all of it is lifted. So that's the pro-grandeur of, that's the pure grandeur of pro-gravity. So we hear more about that in the tape. Now this is a bit of an, you can say like an unconventional start of the video tape group, video group. And that is, we start with the video that's part of the video that we're going to watch, but I couldn't get it on video because it is copyrighted, so I cannot use it like directly on YouTube. And literally the video was immediately blocked, and so that's a good sign, because now I can show it to you just privately, and it's very, very, very lovely and funny. That's the most part. So laugh your head off, or do whatever you need to do. Get your tissue box, or who knows what's going to happen. I'll share with you this amazing Warner Bros. Video. Totally funny. Now this you can very well compare with your dream, by the way. I'll probably come back to that later too. It's like the interesting part is that you pile your dream up with identification and thinking that you have to do with everything and everyone, and it's so important what you do, and you'll just at a certain point you let everyone in and let everything, every idea come in, until the whole bubble bursts, and literally, well, you'll see what will happen. So you can say like that's a beautiful picturing of waking up. See this? Is this how your dream looks at this point? Like a bit too crowded, too much happening, and suddenly you will see it burst open. You cannot hold it any longer. So this is the start of Mission Possible. What an idea. And see, this is pretty experimental. That's obvious. So to start with this is like, wow, this is really funny. It's great that we can start with it. Like it's a very old scenery, and I love to watch it. So the next part that we're going to do now is also not so regular meditation. It is a guided meditation, and it is an interesting idea. Imagine yourself as a perfect sphere, like absolutely totally smooth. Now this smooth sphere is going to be turned inside out. And you say like, well, that's not possible. It's like, well, yes, that's possible. And this is the same as you waking up, going through, you could say like a black hole, and coming out on the other side as an illumined mind. Like you go through the depths of darkness and you end up in like a bright light energy. Now this is with the idea of, say, the impossibility of the occurrence. It seems to be totally impossible, as a human being, impossible to wake up, and it is. So it's like, that's totally impossible to wake up, because the one that's in the dream, you could say, is not the one that is waking up. the one that is awakened is not the one that wanted to wake up. And there's no overlap there. So this is the same with the sphere. Turning the sphere inside out. It's like, that's impossible. Yeah, but it's still going to happen. It's still possible in this. Now the guided meditation that I set up here has to do with becoming like seeing that you have a choice in how you want to wake up. And that is like, and Jesus says it in the Course too, it's like you can make this a struggle, you can make it difficult, you can make this a big drama out of it. Or you can be just happy waking up. That's up to you. The way that you wake up is up to you too. Now, and this guided meditation that I set up is a bit for specifically that. It's like you have a choice how to move through this. Why not go through this in the optimal, the maximal optimized way? And that is just to enjoy it, just to go for it, and just to give your whole heart to it, just like you do. It's like that is the easiest way, the most optimal way to wake up. It doesn't need to be too much of a roller coaster. It doesn't need to be, no, and you have ideas about it for sure too. Now, if there's a way to wake up, that would be the optimal way to go through it. You want to be open to that. So this is the same as how can you turn a sphere inside out? What is the optimal way of using energy to do that? Like how would you even consider doing that? Well, you're going through all of that in just 7 minutes, just like that. So that's another experiment. So it's going to be great. There we go. Welcome to the Optiverse guided meditation. Find a comfortable position, either sitting or laying down, and gently close your eyes or soften your gaze. Take a deep breath in through your nose, filling your lungs completely, and slow breathe out, releasing any tension you may be holding. Another deep breath in and out, feeling your body settle. The perfect sphere. Visualize in your mind's eye a perfectly round, smooth sphere. It could be a simple white orb, a brilliant marble, or a glowing bubble. This sphere represents a state of geometric perfection. Feel the flawless, gentle curvature of this surface. It is perfectly oriented. Its inside remaining within, and its outside facing out. It is a low energy balance. Breathe in the calm, smooth surface, and breathe out any rough edges in your mind. The goal. Now understand the task before the sphere. It must be turned inside out. The North Pole must become the South Pole, and the outside must become the inside, and the inside the outside. But it must be a continuous deformation, no tearing, no pinching, no holes. The surface is allowed to pass through itself. Your sphere's goal is to reach its final state, an identical, perfectly smooth sphere. but one that is completely everted, turned inside out. Breathe in the sense of motion and transformation. Breathe out any resistance to change. Seeking the optimal path. Focus on the concept of elastic bending energy as the sphere begins to deform, twist and pass through itself. Its curvature increases and the energy rises. Imagine the sphere beginning to flex like a muscle. Energy is being restored in the deformation. As the surface touches and intersects, you create complex shapes at temporary cost of high energy. Your path must rise, traverse a difficult pass, and then again descend to lower energy perfection of the everted sphere. Now, the halfway model. Imagine the sphere reaching the absolute midpoint of its eversion. This moment is the peak of the journey, a point of maximum necessary energy. This peak is not an unbridled mess, it's a point of elegant complexity, a mini-max settle point. It is the minimum possible maximum energy required for any eversion. Visualize the intricate, symmetrical self-intersection at this peak. For one Optiverse eversion, this complex shape is known as the boy's service. It holds its maximum energy with beautiful minimal symmetry. It is the geometrically most efficient moment of self-crossing. The shape is balanced between the initial and the final states. Breathe in the intricate, necessary complexity and breathe out the struggle, finding the ease within the difficulty. The descent and completion. From this peak, this balanced settled point, the process flows downhill in energy. The complex self-intersections begin to resolve, and the surface undeforms, simplifying its curves. The stored energy is released, the surface smooths out, flowing naturally back to a state of minimal curvature. Watch as the shapes melt back into perfectly smooth sphere, the final state. Its inside is now outside, but its geometry once again flawless. The eversion is complete. It was achieved not by brute force, but by finding the geometrically optimal low-effort path through a necessary moment of complexity. So breathe in the ease of the smooth surface and breathe out the complexity now transformed. Return to the self. The fundamental idea of the Optiverse is that even in a process as radical as turning a sphere inside out, there's an optimal path defined by minimal effort. Bring this realization back to yourself. In your own life's transitions, your moments of transformation, you don't need the messiest, most destructive part. You can seek the part of minimax effort, the geometrically most efficient route through necessary complexity. Feel now the flow from initial state through necessary peak challenge and back to a final perfect but transformed state. When you are ready, gently deepen your breath and open your eyes, carrying the knowledge of the optimal path with you. Wow, that was something else. Wow. So really interesting to experience this too. Like it is expanding in your consciousness. You could say it's expanding. You really go into it when you say choose to do this. That's pretty amazing. So I love that, and I thought it was a very sweet idea to experience this in a whole different way, because it is not. We don't have to do this in one format. Obviously, the forms are given to use this, and if the only if the only achievement was an expansion of consciousness, of mind, then it's very successful. It's really wonderful. So in that sense, it's like, yeah, you don't. This is a great exercise just for that, for what it actually gave, and that's it. So I'm happy that I used that. Now, how is all this related to the video? What an idea! Yeah, we're going to listen to Master Teacher. Now today, I want to emphasize one part which is so revealing to me in this specific tape, and that is the idea of like the non-practicalness of this course, you could say, of A Course in Miracles. Like, it is very practical in your daily activities. You have every opportunity to apply it and all this, but the holy instant or the miracle itself has literally nothing to do with this existence that you find yourself in. It's literally you're taken out of it with the holy instant, with a revelation, with an experience of revelation, direct contact with God, just from God to you, having an intensity where all fear suddenly is released, it's all gone, and you come into a deep certainty. Now these experiences, like, these have nothing to do. They literally have no practical application here. And you can say, like, well, is it so? That's not so great that it doesn't have an application here. And well, this is where we take another look at, because it's like, if it doesn't have an application here, doesn't mean it's not helpful. No, it's very helpful. It's very revealing, to say the most, to say the least, basically. It's like, it's very revealing. Now, what is then the mystery behind this? Is like, why doesn't it have an effect, a practical effect on you here? Well, this is the thing. It's like, this is literally the part where you are overcoming death. What is death but time, living in time, associating with things of time, and all this? You know what I'm saying? It's like, if it had to do with that, then it would still be connected to an idea of temporalness, of death, of something that is here now but will not be there forever. Like, then it would still have a relationship with that. And that's why this is liberating. It sets you free of the idea of time and space, but literally it doesn't have a relationship with it. And that's unimaginable for a human mind, because everything is related to time. You can, even your idea of eternity has an idea of a long time. As a human being, you think like eternity is a long time. Now that of course has nothing to do with it. So that's why, to me, that was a real discovery to hear it being taught like this, because it makes so much sense. And Divan, our Master Teacher, is just using one sentence to explain that, or to show that, or to touch that, so to speak. And that's why I wanted to really emphasize this. It's like, this is essential. So it's like, all the concern you have about time-related ideas is still your, you can say, your addiction to death, or your adoration of guilt and sin, of your way to stay, in fact, bound by the limitations that you impose upon yourself. So that's good to hear. So it's a very liberating idea that the new experiences that you're having have literally nothing to do with this place. And of course you can say like, yeah, I walk around here, I'm the savior of this world, or I'm the light of the world. I'm shining this light right into this dream of me. But there you have it. It's like you recognize that it's your dream, and the dream doesn't have reality, but since you believed the dream to have reality, this role is essential for you to play, so to speak, in a dramatic fashion. Of course, you give everything to it. You're going to really do that, and that's important. But the experiences that you are going to have will be with the quality of they have nothing to do with this place at all. In other words, I can walk around in this dream being awake, that this dream has no reality, being in perfect communication, and I can do everything that I want. It is not limited by anything of time, because literally my dream ended. It is over, it's gone. If I pull it back in by activating it or reanimating the ideas, then there it is for me, then I can suffer in it. But if I release that, if I set myself free of that, like by handing it over, and by your prayer, your meditation, to become still and opening up your miracle mind for a new experience, there's the happening. There, suddenly it makes total sense that what you are experiencing has nothing to do with time. You could care less about that. Like there's no concern about that. So that is a state of heaven on earth, you can say, because you still seem to find yourself here, but you experience your freedom. So that is heaven on earth. And your experience of heaven has then at the same time nothing to do with the worldly experience while you're in this world. So that's not something to really figure out or anything. No, open up for the experience that will take you out of this. Like open up your consciousness for the miracle, for the holy instant, for the revelation, and basically be infinitely patient to let that come to you. And there it is. And there you have it. And there that just happened to you. And like this, it's like that's the ease of that. It is not of your doing. Because if it would be of your doing, then this happens to this figure that still has a tendency, the body mind, so to speak, that is walking this earth, and it still has a tendency to annihilate himself within the dream of limitation of time. So that is the whole setup. That's why this is so important. Like you're going to lose everything that you held on to in order to experience something new. Now that seems like a sacrifice, but you can feel that. That's right on the edge of that. It's like, no, it's not a sacrifice. No, it has to be, say, dislodged from each other. Otherwise you would be embedding it into the illusion. You would still bind it to ideas of death, and it has nothing to do with it. This is your awakening into life. It makes so much sense, and like that's so clear in my mind. It is just totally lovely the way this is expressed. So what I'm offering you from the certainty of universal reality, this is not what life is. No matter how you constitute it in the relationship of your body form, it's not life. It's simpler than you're willing to admit. Without explanation, life is eternal and creates forever. Okay? If life is eternal and creates forever, obviously, this is not life. So here I sit with you, offering you a congenial, despite your fear of me, reassociation of your molecular association, that will allow you to escape from the carbon oxide containment or the definition that you have given yourself in the ridiculous parody that represents what you think life is. And does that make you happy? Okay, I'll read it one more time. If life is eternal and creates forever, obviously this is not life. So here I sit with you, offering you a congenial, despite your fear of me, reassociation of your molecular association that will allow you to escape from the carbon oxide containment or definitions that you have given yourself in the ridiculous parody that represents what you think life is. Yeah, that's a pretty long sentence. And does that make you happy? So the carbon oxide containment, so master teachers give you a short chemistry lesson here. Master teacher talks like the human life as a containment of gases, like nitrogen gas that is surrounding you. What are you breathing? Oxygen. What are you breathing? Nitrogen. What are you exhaling? It's like carbon dioxide. This confirms to your biological science mind that you're alive. You have the oximeter, like the sensor for oxygen, and yeah, it can measure like, oh yeah, 99%, wonderful, you're doing really well, you're alive. And this is one example of that. It's like you have your life functions. You call them life functions. As a nurse, I know that. It's like it's your life function. So 99% oxygen in your blood is really good. And on and on and on. Like too much CO2, carbon dioxide in your blood isn't good, so you breathe it out. And the nitrogen that you're breathing in is just leaving your body as it came. Nothing happens. Now this seems to be the containment in which you find yourself within the definitions of yourself. See, this is how Master Teacher says it, like the associations of yourself. This is what you have made of yourself. You think you can measure life by measuring and the percentage of this toxic gas called oxygen. But your body has adapted to it, so it can use it to breathe and do all kinds of things. So, in other words, what I'm saying here is this: is like that was the definition as you have called life. Now, it isn't eternal. So, the main characteristic of life is that it's eternal. So this cannot be what life is. Obviously not. So that's why this comes back. Like that's why this comes back. But I'm using now the carbon dioxide and nitrogen just as a definition of what life is, of what you think life is as a human being. You perceive yourself as weak and frail, with futile hopes and devastated dreams, born but to die, to weep and suffer pain. Hear this. Master Teacher says, uh-oh, then the group reads again in this sublime transcript that we're using. Thank you, Shanine. All power is given unto you in heaven and earth. There is nothing that you cannot do. This is what is directly from the Course. All power is given unto you in heaven and in earth and heaven. There's nothing that you cannot do. You play the game of death, of being helpless, pitifully tied to dissolution, in a world which shows no mercy to you. Yet when you accord it mercy, will its mercy shine on you? You mean I can't get old, I can't get sick, and I can't die? Yes. What am I gonna do instead? Well, there's your dilemma. Yes, do you see that? There is no practical application for this message. This was the one that I was pointing at. There is no practical application for this message. So if you can't get old, you can't get sick, you can't die, you have a serious problem, because now what you're going to do instead? And you don't have to think about that, but that is one of the, say, the barriers in order to accept this idea. Because your investment is in getting old, getting sick and die. As a human being, this is the one thing that you know that can happen, and you invest in it. You try to prevent it. You fight it. You try not to do it, which is the same as you try to do it. So it's like you get stuck in your own duality, thinking that either one of the opposites are going to help you. If it isn't good, then it is bad. If bad is not good, then it should become better and good. Now I just lost it and I fall back into bad. You know, it's like there's no way out of this. So there's no practical application for this message. What I've taken away from you, yes, wow. And your Savior Jesus Christ took away from you and his resurrection. What did he take away from you? Death. If you believe me, you'll never die. That's all it says. You're not going to be successful at dying. As devastating and determined as you are to express yourself as weak and as contained in here, it's not going to work. So this is what I said. It's like, because this is, to me, this is the main thing. So the main takeaway out of this talk is like, there's no such thing as death, and there's no such thing as translating any of your spiritual experiences, translating it into a better human life. Like, that's not what it has to do with, because otherwise you plant it into a timeful place, into a place where death exists and still is an idea that is alive, because you just brought it to life by you binding it. So what is bound on earth will be bound in heaven. What is loosed on earth will be loosed in heaven. Here's really the power. It's like, the thing is that if you don't bind it to this, then you cannot bind anything to this. That means, and here we come to the Optiverse meditation, like if all the feelings and all the ordeals where you move through have in fact nothing to do with your situation here, but just a temporary experience of your awakening, then it is not bound here. You released it forever, because you did not bind it back into time and space, into a limited perspective. So you can say, like, oh, that's why we have lessons like, I'm never upset for the reason I think. I'm upset because I see something that is not there. So if I feel upset, it has nothing to do with this place. Let me be totally upset. The next moment it will be gone. The next moment I feel totally alone. Well, I let that move through my system. I just let it pass by. Suddenly it's gone. Where did it go? What happened? Doesn't matter. Here's the moment. Now you are in a deep experience of your connectedness. And that changes again into a different experience of some kind. Like, all of it, if you don't nail it into time and space, if you don't connect it with yourself, with your world, then it has no connection with it. Then you see that it is not determined by any of the occurrences. No, it is just happening in you. And if you don't suppress these feelings, or this what you are experiencing, it can be healed and can be freely floating through you. Literally, it's like it is a dynamic energy, like everything is happening at the same time, and that changes all the time. It's not static at all. So that means also in your experience, in your transformation, that is important. If you don't hold it in time, then it is released forever. because it can be whatever it is. It does not matter anymore. It is not. It isn't. It has no meaning here. It has no relevance here. It did not have any relevance. You just labeled it and you said, well, this is, I have a shitty day, or I have this kind of day, or that kind of day. And you relate it to yourself. And that's not the self that you are. So in other words, allow yourself to feel all these things. Be open, don't suppress it, but just have a nice day. Like don't associate it with yourself or with anyone or any situation. And that's really like the key to illumination. As long as it has to do with you, with someone else, with the situation, you're locked in time and space, and you basically are exercising your addiction. It would be like picking up a drink. You exercise your addiction to death. Now this is what Master Teacher teaches in this talk. So we're going to listen to that. We have like 45 minutes. So that will be the first 45 minutes. The talk is more than an hour. So we won't make it to the end, but I'm just letting that be. You can watch it on YouTube too, of course. But this is great that we have a little moment of preparation or getting into a whole different setup altogether, and then step into this video. Thank you for now, and see you after the video.
When we are dancing and you're dangerously near me, I get ideas. Good morning. We are, I'm called the Master Teacher, and I'm here this morning to share some ideas with you about your ideas and about my ideas in my relationship with our conglomerate associate ideas that have given us definitions of form in a congruity that finally is going to represent a single idea, which is what universal mind is. Okay, are you comfortable with being now in the presence of my certainty that together we are expressing a single idea of perfection, okay, that is reflected, okay, because of the apparent conditional association in which we find ourselves, that is an advocacy of a body identity that has kept us from seeing that in truth we represent the single idea of the universal consciousness of a divine creating reality. So when we're dancing and I'm dangerously near you, I get ideas. The difficulty, good morning, good to see you there. The difficulty that we encounter in our conceptual, excuse me, there, in our conceptual associations with ourselves and each other is fundamentally our ideas must result in a conclusion that justifies our associations here in the world. Is that so?
Yes.
I'm going to talk to you today, and those of you who have seen the other videos are aware that my emphasis has been on a religious connotation, or the idea of a spiritual maturity that can occur in a theology of singularity demonstrated by your awakening from the dark form to the certainty of your perfection with God. Now I'm going to get it'll take me about 4 minutes here to get the religious vernacular out of the way. I don't want to have to deal with it then for the rest of this hour. I'm going to present it to you very simply in this way. What I'm going to read you now, and this is from John at the beginning, is all that I have to say about man and his relationship with God. And I'll read it to you now. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. The same was in the beginning with God. All things were made by him, and without him was not anything made that was made. In him was life, and the life was the light of men. And the light shineth in darkness, and the darkness comprehended it not. So that takes care of the theology of what we're going to talk about. I'd like to present to you now, the certainty that I have evolved in my individual institution of reality based on this message and my necessity to acknowledge my individual comprehension of the light that is shining in all of us. With your permission, we're going to let, there's an intensive going on here at the Healing Center. And we're going to let some of the participants who are undergoing dramatic experiences come in and share some ideas that we have about what we would like to see performed in the transformation of our minds. This is the Healing Center, isn't it? Where we say that if you come here, with the grievances of depression and associations of the world that have caused you to suffer from conditions of pain and death, that we can offer you with our lucid reality of mind alternatives that will literally shine away the death that you're experiencing. Come on in, everyone. Come on in and sit down. Come on, come on. There's a bunch of them here. And what they are going to do is bring with them, here, there must be 15 or 20 of them. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Come on in and sit down. So we're at the Healing Center, and those of you who have watched our videos are aware. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Just get around down in here somewhere for a minute. Just before I decided to do this video, we were talking about ideas, weren't we?
Yes.
And we were talking about how everything is an idea. All right? And as strange or particular as that may seem to you, if what I just read you from John is true, you are literally God's idea.
Yes.
All right? So that the universal mind in the entirety of consciousness has an idea, and that is you. as you are a representative of yourself in this association, you obviously are an association of ideas that demonstrate your creative capacity in temporal association. So what are we faced with? We're faced with your acknowledgement that the forms that you see about you in the projections of your conceptual association express ideas that you have about yourself. All right? Until you are willing somewhere to acknowledge that you would prefer an alternative to the condition in which you find yourself, there's not going to be a lot that I can do about offering you the alternative of eternal life. Is that so? Say, of course. Of course. There you go. So in the other videos, we were talking to you about the admission that through the practice of the relinquishment of your identities, you can begin to have this experience of light. And certainly it's going to include, in the practice, it will include the declarations that we find in the workbook of A Course in Miracles, which is a facilitation of your risen mind, who you identify as Jesus Christ. I am not a body. I am free. I am still as God created. Those of you who would like to have me take that statement just for a moment and explain my understanding of the frustration that you must feel in your body identities, okay, you will be very happy to see that through this facilitation, you can recognize a conversion in your own mind. All right, and I'll show you how I feel about that in my individual mind. The idea that life would be a demonstration of what is occurring within this fabric of molecular association literally doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know what this is. Okay. But I know that it is not what life is, if life is eternal. Okay? And I am a part of the entirety of the creative reality. All right, let's look at what you define life as just for a moment. Say to me, life is a nitrogen fixation. Say that to me.
Life is a nitrogen fixation.
Yes. And if you stand back with a map, even of the galaxy, never mind the galaxy, just go to the solar system and you look at the containment, okay, of the world, of the Earth, you can see that it's surrounded by a nitrogen cloud. Okay? I know all of you are aware of the inevitable statistical fact that the constitution of your atmosphere is 9.7% nitrogen. The vast majority, the other 20% of it, is the poison called oxygen, which is needed as a fix to justify the associations of your body form. Now, obviously that's what you believe life is, but if you care to look at it with me, it would seem fairly ridiculous that you would be a nitrogen-oxygen fixation. It has to be a molecular association of form somewhere, that the variations are the number of protons contained within the nucleus. So after you get to 6 with this nitrogen, you add on 7, you've got carbon, or the reverse of that, then you got oxygen. So your entire constitution is a molecular association of nitrogen and oxygen. That's it? That's 99.1%. Thankfully, we got a little argon in there. Argon, another 8%, a little krypton maybe. So krypton and argon might help you facilitate yourself. If you treat, can I say this to you? If you believe that that's the constitution of reality in your mind, you're ridiculous. What you're saying to me is if I'm mostly nitrogen, okay, I am fixed in nitrogen, literally what you're saying, I'm either going to crap on myself or blow myself up. Laugh. Everything that I do, this is a carbon cycle, guys. Everything I do either turns to crap or dynamite. It's either nitrogen or oxygen. And that remains the fact of the matter. But why that would possibly constitute the formulations of your association with the innovative factor that you employ in order to demonstrate your creative purpose is a complete mystery to my illuminate mind and will be to yours in just a moment. Because this entire teaching that you are a captive within the body form, within this ridiculously contained idea that doesn't even represent light in any true sense. So you've been representing darkness. All right? So I'm offering you a new idea. All right? And along with this new idea will be the necessity for you to escape from the confines that you have defined within your own objective reference. Is this true?
Yes.
I must offer you a manner by which your mind can expand its consciousness identity into a realization that transcends the lock of the nitrogen fixation that you are using to identify your molecular association. I'm talking to some of you out there who, on the experience of the joy of self-reality, okay, that is the idea in a moment of revelation that you are indeed free as God created you, only to have it reduced to the idea of, let's call it practical application. If you want to stay with me just for a moment. The idea of practical application, the idea that we would take this revelatory association of your mind that constitutes the joy of your creative purpose. I'm speaking of my mind here now, or your mind as you come into this new facility. And we would have to reduce it to an exchange factor that would justify motivations for remaining in the stricture of your conceptual mind are meaningless and very depressing.
Yes.
They're very depressing. If you look at it, what in the hell would be more depressing, okay, than the idea of a practical application of a revelation that showed you, okay, that showed you an entire reference of the association of eternal life only be reduced to some sort of exchange?
Yes.
Are you aware that that's how it works?
Yes.
Are you aware that you can constitute all of the innovative ideas expressed in the certainty of research that will give you surprising alternatives based on accumulative thought processes that your innovating mind can express, only to have them simply thrown out because they have no application? Are you aware why you don't like the mind training of A Course in Miracles? Very simply because it's the offering of direct contact with God, and actually it has no practical application in regard to your necessity to stay in a nitrogen fixation and die. Is that so?
Yes.
You see that? No, we are allowing you, in the sense of a miracle, the converted attitudes that you can assume in order to say, I am not a body, I am free. If I want, I can depart this world right now. Nothing is binding me but my own mind. And that's a joyous idea. But remember, it's an idea that continually transcends your necessity to justify the practicality of your body existence. Say it, of course. All of the historic references in which I share my illumination are very much aware of the despondency that inevitably is a result of the establishment's dead set idea to take this revelation and reduce it. I was looking at the advancements that have been made in the 20th century virtually in communication, or manners in which we express to each other through the innovations of our mind new practicalities of expression. And I was thinking about alchemy for a minute, and this was in comparison with a very old alchemist, one who you know very well, since all of our minds that have been involved in the alchemy or the chemical transformation of the molecular association to new light factors are aware that while we may constitute substance as separate, actually it's only contained in the molecular association. The greatest, by far, what you would call chemist or alchemist, in his determination to express the substance of the reassociation of his mind, and probably you've never heard him. He's a guy named Wallace Carruthers. Wally Carruthers is a dear friend of mine. He, to cut to the chase here, he invented nylon. He invented plastics. His innovations brought about the idea that you could actually take substances of molecular association, and it's pretty close to creation, isn't it?
Yes.
And make things like plastic and tire and iron. If that's not alchemy, what is it?
Yeah.
The great guy.
Yeah.
And obviously, all he wanted was the research,
Yes.
because the application would be very depressing.
Yes.
Yet without the application, nobody cared at all about what he was able to do.
Yes.
Okay, the resulting despondency, and this was true of my mind, and I know it's true of many of you there, the despondency, the depression that's associated following revelation or new formulation that necessitates, the application of it within your body function is sad. His awareness of it, and he suffered a great deal from the inevitability that everything that he was feeling and expressing was going to be reduced to this. Certainly, the manner in which my illumination occurred included the ultimate depression of my inability to solve the dilemma of what was being revealed to me in the bright light of my reality and required an application within the form. His answer to it is very interesting, and this is historic and everyone knows it. He carried a cyanide pill with him. He was a beautiful guy. And everyone around him knew that he carried a cyanide pill. And of course he was also an alcoholic, and he also would go off because he was experiencing the joy of this. And DuPont really wanted him because they could see that whatever he was going to do, it might have an application. Had it not have an application, it wouldn't have mattered what he thought about it. And that's what depressed him. And that's what depressed all of us who are what we would term research thinkers.
Wow.
Say, I encourage you to continually research your mind with the certainty that your inventive capacity is always going to supersede, and reassociate into a broader range for which eventually you will find no application except love.
Yes.
You'll come to the point where you simply are joyous and certain of your own association within your own mind. He was a joyous guy. He sang and he partied and enjoyed himself, and when he was 41 years old, he took his pill.
Wow.
It was 1937. He was born just before the turn of the century, and that took care of that. And obviously that's why he was denied the Nobel Prize. I mean, anybody that would commit suicide wouldn't be entitled to the Nobel Prize. Since Nobel is associated with the nitrogen or dynamite, the Nobel Peace Prize. That's enough of that. What I wanted you to see was it's perfectly natural for you to feel the frustration of the joy that you begin to express in our new creative purpose, only to have it reduced by some conceptual mind to what's it for?
Yeah.
And you say, what do you mean, what's it for?
Right.
It's a joy. It's an idea of God.
Yes.
Okay? That's what it's for. It's so that I can be me rather than what you think I am. So that I can enjoy the fruits of my determination that there's an alternative to this not contained within this nitrogen fixation.
Yes.
That I can travel to the stars, that I can see that. Okay? So, what am I offering you from the certainty of universal reality? This is not what life is. No matter how you constitute it in the relationship of your body form, it's not life. Yeah. It's simpler than you're willing to admit without explanation. Life is eternal and creates forever. Okay, if life is eternal and creates forever, obviously this is not life.
Thank you.
So here I sit with you, offering you a congenial, despite your fear of me, reassociation of your molecular association that will allow you to escape from the carbon-oxygen containment or definition that you have given yourself in the ridiculous parody that represents what you think life is. Does that make you happy? Say, I'm happy.
I'm happy.
Those who are at the intensive are beginning to have this experience of revelation that affords them the certainty that indeed they're not bodies, that they're whole and free as God created them. Now, the exchange that is in progress here involves the conversion of your molecular body association through what we would term revelation of light. Remember in John where it says it's shown in darkness and the darkness perceived it not. Many of you now in the auspices of the miracle of mind training, of the Course in Miracles, are beginning to experience the transformation of your minds. And when that occurs, okay, the rapidity inevitably will be increased, even though the application of it cannot be directed except by your determination to be accepted in the new mode in which you find yourself. The secret of salvation then becomes very simply this: I am the cause of this.
Yes.
I am the cause of what is occurring, and we usually pick up one of our cards at this time. Okay, I am the cause of what is occurring in this world, and I am being affected only by my own thoughts. Ta-da! Read as rapidly as you can.
I'm affected only by my thoughts.
Come on.
It needs but this to let salvation come to all the world.
Yes.
For in this single thought is everyone released at last from fear.
Everyone is released by my thought?
Yes.
Go.
Now have I learned that no one frightens me, and nothing can endanger me. I have no enemies, and I am safe from all external things. My thoughts can frighten me, but since these thoughts belong to me alone, I have the power to change them and exchange each good thought for a happy thought of love. I am crucifying himself. Yet God has planned that his beloved Son will be redeemed. Your plan is sure.
Your plan is sure, God. I'm going to depend on you and not on my own thoughts. If I can get you to see that your thoughts have taken form,
Yes.
and that in the now define what you think you are in the form of your body, your progress is going to be very rapid in this. And the idea that you are an idea, okay, and that the universe is an idea, and that ideas are what power is, will show you that when Jesus says that all power is given to you in heaven and earth, he means it. But when I tell you that this world is not real, that you're not from here, that you don't have to stay here, that's going to give you a great deal of enjoyment.
Yes.
It's amazing that as we begin to have these innovative reassociations of our mind, nothing subtracts us from the idea of the application of the science of alternative. That is the conversion from the form, from space-time, okay, to quantum, to eternal life, to extension. Nothing prevents us the excitement of that possibility, because indeed, the only purpose for which we would be here would be the expression of that possibility. I noticed that we're going on to the net with one of the applications that we employ here at Endeavor Academy to bring about a complete reassociation of the sphere that represents the so-called universe. And it's a mathematical idea that you can turn a sphere inside out. Okay? Can you hear this?
Yes.
And I'm not talking about deflating it and pulling it out with a valve. I'm talking about taking a sphere, okay, literally taking a form or a sphere and turning it inside out without disturbing the exterior or, in fact, the interior in any regard. There's a new interesting graphic that's on the net for those of you that haven't seen it that represent the optimal sphere eversion, or Optiverse, is now out in the video, and it instructs the manner where mathematically you can make an application of what you call a four-square association at a moment of conversion without the necessity to identify where the energy factors are exchanged. Guys, this is an idea of enlightenment, and it's expressed mathematically, and I love it. Actually, it's Shankara, and you guys know how I feel about the great mystical mathematician Shankara, who uses what we would call a yantra. Are you familiar with mandalas? He uses a mandala that with your new energy faculty, if you begin to stare at it, you're going to begin to have experiences of being able to enter into it. Can you see that with me?
Yes.
If you can absorb the idea in your Eastern vernacular that the Course in Miracles is a mantra or a repetition of an association of passion that brings about a re-identity, you can move from a mantra, which is time, to a yantra or mandala as expressed in Buddhism, which is actually a new spatial reference. The Course in Miracles workbook, if anybody ever decides to do it, is designed to begin with I am not a body, I am free, my thoughts are meaningless, they don't mean anything, to give you a new aspect of time that will, as it progresses, give you a new location in space. And that's a surprising thing to discover. So then, in effect, what we mean by behold, I show you a mystery, in the twinkling of an eye, you'll be entirely different. In the literal sense, I'm turning you inside out.
Yes.
Is that all right?
Yes.
If it's dark, I'm going to take the dark form of the collapse of the universe. I'll turn you inside out, so you'll represent the light form in the extension of you. That is a physical fact that can be demonstrated in the implosion of the universe. Is this all right if I talk like this a little bit to you? To me, the idea that I would have to remain in some sort of conceptual demonstration of my emotions in regard to this are absurd. Okay, if there's one thing that Wally Carruthers knew was that his enjoyment was in the innovative expression of a theoretical alternative, which is nothing but a miracle, to where he found himself in this reference. Is that so?
Yes.
You're never going to be happy until your ideas become brighter and brighter in the certainty that you're expressing eternal life. No wonder you're depressed. Every time you come together, you feel the passion of accomplishment that immediately turns to the inevitability that nothing is really going to happen here anyway. If you are indeed a nitrogen fixation, that's absurd.
Yes.
You are not that.
Yes.
So everything is an idea, including what you value. Okay? And if I'm going to show you the initial contact you can have with reality and say, above all else, I want to see something beside this, which must be available to me. I want to see. I'm not going to value my constitution of objective reality, which is holding me in the valence of dark form that constitutes a necessity for a chemical carbon reaction that results in shit. Because I can only make dynamite out of it. So the story that we've been telling you is the possibility, if you will join with my mind and your mind, to see a bright new reality that transcends the body instantly.
Yes.
And in fact has nothing at all to do with it. Can you see that? So the simplicity of the certainty of the instantaneousness of that ability constantly escapes you because you've been trapped in a body identity. My concern is not the manner in which you perform the act, but only in your admission that it's always changing anyway. And if you decide that change is inevitable in your mind, why not make that change to something that transcends what you have already determined is only going to gratify your past or future associations with your need to retain this body, which is ridiculous.
Yes.
So you're not a body? Are you free?
Yes.
Are you still as God created you?
Yes.
I'm happy to hear that. And I'm happy to hear that this facility of a new continuum of the transformation of the illusion of the association contained within this atmosphere of nitrogen can demonstrate to you first a new molecular identity that cannot not contain the stuff of the universe. Is the universe all one stuff?
Yes.
Is it?
Yes.
And you out there, I didn't want to get into scientific difficulty. The universe is all one stuff, which what? Is an idea of God, which you cannot not be. The exciting prospect that you can awaken from this dream of containment that forced you into fear and loneliness, where you would define this as life, has now become available to you. And is available to you at this moment in this reassociation. So the technique by which this comes about is a meditative procedure that many of you are beginning to experience now. Let's share it for just a moment. Okay? I'm not a body, I am free. I am still as God created me. Okay? I'm going to lay down the defenses that I am employing to justify this body and see, in fact, that it's nothing but a molecular association of energy. Yeah? No wonder Wally took the pill.
Yeah.
He's sitting here with us and saying nothing. Guys, you know that nothing dies. That idea that Wally had really didn't have to do with his body. The reason he felt depressed is nowhere in the continuum could he find a willingness to take the application of this new creative discovery and at a minimum, find something that transcended the substance that he actually created in the test tube. Do you understand that?
Yes.
He actually made plastic.
Yes.
And it could have a name and it could have an application based on the congruity of his mind. What an astonishing idea that is. Huh? I like the idea that we take form and that we are in fact co-creators would be the expression that we would imply for that. You say to me, let's try this. I haven't tried this. If I have a sphere that I'm going to turn inside out, all right, what good is that going to do me if it doesn't have a practical application?
Wow.
You see that?
Yeah.
If I look at the universe as an entirety and say to you the necessity, okay, for transformation of the entirety of the implosion is turning the universe inside out, which it is.
Mm-hmm.
Let's look quickly at those of you who are commercially investing in whether this idea would have a practical application. Shall we try it? They're saying that in the dark form We come from a point of apparent reality based on, oh, I see what we're going to do.
Wow.
Okay, we are going to invent anti-gravity, which will make perfect sense to you if you look at it with me. What I have offered you mathematically in the conversion of the energy factor is literally anti-gravity. Who can see it?
Yes.
If the power or the pressure of gravity, which it is pushing down, when I invert that, won't I use the power contained within this association to reassociate in the light form?
Yes.
Okay, so now what have we got? An anti-gravity machine. What? Actually, it's a pro-gravity machine, but that's hard for you to understand. Can you get its pro-gravity? And as long as you resist gravity, you can't get out. When you don't resist gravity, it sides with you. It converts the dark form, which is the pressure of the universe pressing in on you. It converts it to light. Hey, guys.